Hello, hello, and welcome to the Listen Bitch podcast, your go to destination for unlocking your full potential and embracing the extraordinary possibilities within you. This is a journey of self discovery and empowerment as you explore that transformative power of stepping into greatness. Come into alignment with your God given power and gifts, unleash your soul, and learn to co create a life that you love. As you become the writer of your own story in this podcast, you're going to find inspiration, practical tips, and the sometimes abrasive nudge to take the leap of faith towards your dreams. You're in the right place. Buckle up so we can unleash your inner badass. Make sure you are supporting this mission at listenbitchdonations.com. If you want to change your life, you're going to want to scroll my show notes. Okay. I got a lot of cool shit in there, stuff that I absolutely love that I share with you guys. So that is in there. That's in there. And I feel like my intro to this podcast is kind of perfect right now because, everybody's hurt right now. People are feeling broken and lost and confused, and life goes on, right? And that's the paradox of being alive in a super messy world, is that life keeps going whether we are ready or not. My kids still need to eat. I still had to pay bills this week. I can't imagine having been the widow. I cannot imagine Charlie Kirk's wife and how she's processing this, and that is part of how we can wake up and show up in that gratitude is just like understanding what she's possibly going through. Like, we have the strength to still show up here. Like, your business still needs the attention, right? But at the same time, our voices matter, our stand matters, all of that. And silence, when it counts, sometimes feels like betrayal. So I want to make sure that you guys understand. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to deal with both, right? Because being quiet is not an option. Not after this happened. And if it takes me coming here every day to remind you about this, I will, because it's never going to be okay. And you're not a hypocrite for laughing during dinner time with your family and then, 10 minutes later you're crying about Charlie, right? That is human. We are all hurt because we saw so much of what's good in him. I couldn't imagine a human that walked closer with Jesus. I couldn't. So that like extra humanized Christ for a lot of us. And it hurts because we see like the good guy go down. That hurts all of us. We're already guilty by staying quiet and not having these conversations, right? But we can heal and we can still build, we can mourn and we can do things. There's no such thing as like moving on too quickly, right? We're not going to let death or darkness cancel our life. We're not. Every single day that you wake up, you have to turn your everyday life into a witness. How can you do that? I mean, you don't have to deliver a 5-page sermon. I'm not a preacher, but I'm not going to stop talking about what God has done in my life. Sometimes literally making a difference. And I'm talking to you. You can weave the truth in your ordinary moments. That's it. You guys you still can post your business content and you can still include something about your values. Teaching your kids the truth, talking to people about what God has done in your life, running the coaching calls, whatever this looks like for you, you can name what matters. We don't have to pretend that the world did not shift. I need you guys to help me normalize speaking up so that it's the undercurrent, not a special occasion. We shouldn't have had to wait for someone to be murdered in front of us before we started speaking up. You got to set that rhythm for your voice. Your voice matters. Your voice matters. And that is scientifically proven what your voice does in the cosmos. Okay. If you don't create structure, what happens is your emotions are going to hijack everything. And then you just disappear in silence. So give yourself that grace to mourn. It is okay. And he doesn't matter more or less to you, whether you've watched him this whole time, if you've followed him like I have, or if you're someone new to who he is. Our mourning is the same. And do that. Give yourself a goal. Set it up 3 times a week. Speak publicly about truth. Speak publicly about justice. Share your faith. And every single day you wake up, the best thing you could do for yourself is to focus on your family and your health and your business. The world was up in arms because of an election. I remember this. Up in arms, like it was the end of the world. And what is the truth? It doesn't matter who gets elected. It doesn't matter who's running our government. The most important thing you can do is to wake up and focus on your potential, your family. What is at home? That we take care of home first. You get your house in order. but that's going to give you consistency. And then it's also going to give you relief. That's it. And do those things. Ask yourself when you're posting or you're ranting or you're having the conversation, like, are you bringing light or are you just being loud to be heard? I want you to think about every conversation that we're having. I want you to be bringing clarity. I want you to be bringing conviction. I want you to be showing people your courage. If we're just going to bleed on people, you need to save that for yourself. We're not trying to bleed on people, and we can still be super pissed off without wanting to bleed on people. You don't mute your anger. It needs to be useful. And getting back to business, getting back to whatever it is you do or what you promote or who you're showing up as online. You know, I've got people that are nervous about posting about their business. Why would you be nervous about that? You can align that with your values and your truth. Your business should be aligned with you already. You're not ignoring the tragedy, and getting back to normal is an fu to everybody who wants to silence you. They want you stuck. They want you scrambling. They want you inside yourself. Everybody's trying to gaslight people to stay quiet. I'm still getting gaslit. I literally put up a post yesterday about gaslighting, and it's still, I've got 2 messages today where I'm just like, what? You're not going to gaslight me to stop talking about the things that matter. Yes, life goes on and you can make a difference when you refuse to detach from your faith and your core values and your ethics, which is everything. The foundation of whatever you're building should be built on anyway. I haven't changed. I've been talking about God a lot in fact, I've been called an abomination long before I was called racist or a fascist or a homophobe. I've been an abomination for months, you guys. Okay? Don't let it change who you are. If this aligns with your core values, speak up. I'm mad. I'm grieving. I'm not going to pretend to be okay with someone assassinated. I'm not going to do that. You can hold the line in your humanity. I let myself feel everything on purpose. Am I glad I was probably in Facebook jail immediately when it happened? Absolutely. I would have said some really hateful things. But like your grief, your rage, your fear, your confusion, those are signals. It's not enemies. So I don't want you guys performing for this. I don't want you to pretend that you're not feeling these things. And I don't want you to get distracted with everything else that's going on. We can't turn our emotions, even the people that are out there like cheering for this. Yes, my friend Sherry just sent me this whole website where you know, people are turning in people who are putting out hate speech, like calling for murder and celebrating murder. I see that people have let that be an outlet, but I don't want that to be your only outlet, right? Because like we could check out everything that everybody is doing wrong, but like let's check ourselves and make sure we're doing everything right. You know, it's easy to put everything on these people that are going batshit crazy. Literally, I mean, they're demons. They're possessed. They're not human. No human is going to wish for murder and call out murder on innocent man and wife and kids. Like it's just not a thing. So I don't want you numbing out. I don't want you, putting it on other situations and saying this is how you're dealing with your grief. Do what you have to do. Let yourself feel everything on purpose. We're not being driven by vengeance. We're not doing a comeback. We're just going to hold the line. We're going to hold the line and we're going to stay true to humanity and support whatever comes. You cannot be programmed by algorithms, okay? Because what indoctrination literally thrives on repetition and isolation, right? So you have to set the hard media boundaries, read actual updates, right? Check things, verify facts. We could stay on the outrage treadmill all day long, but I still want you guys to manage your own emotions and your own feelings. And it's, we can still pray for justice and we can pray for mercy, but that doesn't mean that hate has to become our personality default, right? And then you act, because what is the truth? Faith without works is just nothing. It is nothing. That's it. Name what's evil. Call out the culture industry that dehumanizes, distracts, and divides. Do this. Refuse to collapse entire people into groups, right? It's the idea. It's the idea and the people that are being held accountable. There's a difference between that, what is really anger and what we're just performing as being cruel. Okay. And you guys, The media is going to play whatever narrative, okay? And whatever it is that's going to make us hate our neighbor, they're going to do that. They're going to do that. So I want you guys to really pray for that discernment for what's propaganda, what is true, what's real, what's just setting us off. Okay. There's a lot of clickbait shit out there too. And I don't understand. I will ask you the question. Do not be afraid to ask the questions. I'm asking the questions. Is this real? Is this not real? I just saw a text thread between Charlie and his roommate. Do I think it's real? I have no idea. It feels weird, but all of this feels weird. It is very surreal that someone who is just speaking from their integrity, from their heart, from their soul about faith is just gone. Can the press inform us? I don't know. Maybe, but they're also going to desensitize us. Okay. Read beyond the headlines. Read beyond the headlines. Continue to protect your house, protect your rhythm. Life goes on. It does. That's it. But keep your commitments. You know, I still have to show up for my marriage. I still have to show up for my kids, for my clients, for my guests, I get to be on an awesome podcast tomorrow. I get to show up for my audience, publish the podcast. Okay. Continue to build the business. Be present. Don't just live in the comments section. Evil wants you exhausted and distracted, and we all have to decline that. So we find actions that heal the culture, right? Speak out, speak up, be able to debate, have the conversations. This is all in vain if we're going to be quiet. We're not trying to win the internet. We want to raise the standard. That's it. Tell the truth and say it exactly how you would say it face to face with anyone. Do we expect justice? Yeah. Is there ever really any true justice? It doesn't bring anybody back. Is there ever accountability? I think so many people are bought and paid for. We're going to exhaust ourselves chasing that hamster wheel. And then it's going to inflame us. And so we could choose stubborn hope. You know, let's set ourselves up to be safe and brave and sane. So stop letting chaos set the agenda. You cannot abandon your calling. We can't. We're being called to continue building our families, to continue working on our businesses, to continue being a part of our communities, keep telling the truth. And you can stay kind in person and stay sharp in argument. Something I can assure you on every comment thread, especially in my political group, every comment thread resorts to name calling. And at that point, there's no conversation. There's no debate. Okay. We are not going to move down to that. We will stay kind in person and sharp in argument, because I can actually love people for where they are and not accept their delusions, not play into their delusions, not accept their lifestyle. I love a lot of people that I don't agree with. What do we need to continue to do? Well, pay your bills, continue to create. Podcast for me is part of my creation, right? Keep reading the Bible. You cannot argue with people about the foundation of Christ if you are not in the Word. And I know that. I'm new here. I'm new with the Bible. Okay. I have a lot to learn. I think 2 years, it's not even been 2 years. Reading it once is not enough. It is an everyday study. It is an everyday putting yourself in here to see that it's alive and that it's well and that's going to work through your life. It's literally the guidebook, the foundation of who we are, where we're meant to be. Stay in that so that your conversations, when you're having them, and this is the expectation I have of you, to step into your potential and have these conversations. I cannot debate the Bible with someone who does not read the Bible. You just can't do that. So I want you to be the kind of person that can back up your truth with proof. Everybody has a little time they can spend reading. Okay. Everybody. I have an incredible schedule. If you guys are not in that Bible study for a badass group, I'll start posting the schedule again. I have it on YouTube, but I don't have any traction there. It's a brand new channel. So if you want that, I've already got a Facebook built for that, a group built for that, where I could give you guys that schedule. Simple reading. I think the most it takes me is 20 minutes, and that's because I'll reread and let it sink in. But we don't get to let a murder dictate the quality of our days. Our whole identity is not on revenge. Okay. That's not moving on. We want to move forward on purpose, in purpose. Be clear. I'm not here to be cute. I'm be very clear about everything I feel and believe, and be specific. Be specific when you're talking. You have to be brave. And every conversation we're having, you have to be human, holding space for people, even the people that don't agree with me. And I've said that, I've hurt people's feelings when it wasn't my intention. Political violence is wrong. Religious violence is wrong. It doesn't need to get that far. Yes, we're all heartbroken and pissed off about this assassination. I'm not going to numb it out, and I'm not going to let the media tell me how to feel. I'm going to mourn, I'm going to pray, and I'm going to keep talking about it. I'm going to keep talking about it. I'm going to stay rooted in the truth, and I'm going to keep finding the scripture, and I'm going to keep praying for discernment. Not out of rage. I could be pissed off, but I'm not raging. At the same time, you guys, I'm still going to wake up and keep building my life. I'm going to keep loving my family. I'm going to keep serving my clients. I'm going to keep speaking out. I don't have to dehumanize anyone. Neither do you. They're doing it to themselves. And we are not going to sanitize reality. Evil does not get to write our story. God gets to write our story. So show up for that next chapter with the courage, with the facts, with literally a clear conscience. The next best thing is, it's not about who you were yesterday, not who you'll someday become. I think the important thing is right now. Life is short and you never know. You just never know right now. Moments like this, when tragedy and chaos have shaken us, this is exactly when everyone is watching this culture shift. Everyone is watching this, and hearts are fragile. This is the time that's going to define who you are and what your purpose is. It's going to define leaders, it's going to define families, and it's going to define legacies. More than ever, it's time to step into your potential. When the world gets loud and violent, a lot of people are going to freeze. They scroll, they spiral, they shut down. And you can either fill that void with fear and propaganda, or you could be someone like me who is willing to speak the truth and build something solid. Call people to a higher standard. Stop accepting just enough. If I was the devil, I'd be all about silence and self-sabotage. Go for it. If you go quiet, if you shrink, if you hide your gifts because you're scared of what people are going to say or do, you've already surrendered your ground. But when you speak, you create. And when you show up in power and faith, like, you're denying that darkness. And darkness' favorite weapon is silence. Always. Potential is not optional anymore. This isn't just about self-improvement, okay? Or even finding your passion. It's not about that right now. Stepping into your potential is about responsibility. It's about your kids seeing that chaos instead of collapse. It's about your people, the people that see you every day. It's about them seeing consistency, not chaos. It's about your soul knowing you didn't sit on the sidelines while the world was on fire. Your voice is part of the healing. Yes, people need prayer. Obviously, yes, people need justice, but people also need people who are not just screaming into the void. Let your voice be something that paints towards hope and truth and action. That's your lane. I don't care who you are, you have influence. That means you're accountable to be using it too. Momentum matters so much more than motivation, because maybe you don't feel ready. Maybe you're still just grieving and angry and confused. But I'm telling you, take one step into whatever it is that you've been wanting to do. Record the podcast, write the post. Maybe you haven't even been able to post. Write the comment, go live, pray with your community. It doesn't matter what you do, but there's something you need to be doing. You feel that, and you're never going to be at ease until you take that next step. Potential isn't something you wait on, you activate it. Momentum builds clarity. Show up anyway. Show up anyway, because if you're not going to step into your potential now in this pressure cooker moment, then when are you? At the end of the day, life doesn't stop because evil showed up. So we have to be the people that refuse to let fear and indoctrination or the media decide who the fuck you're going to be. This is when we rise. This is the moment we step into the potential that God already put inside of us. It's not a someday, not when it's safe, right fucking now. Because if the world can watch a man be murdered on stage, y'all watch that. You guys watch that. If we can watch that, then world can damn sure see us step up to live boldly and to speak truth and literally to refuse to back down. You don't get to quit on your calling. I'm not letting you. This is bullshit. You don't get to go silent. That's not what's safe anymore. That is not what's safe anymore. We kept our mouths shut for how long? And the good guy's dead. Silence isn't safety. You were born for this exact moment. In this grand design, God knew exactly what was going to happen. And he knew that something like this is either going to propel you or snuff you out. If you're not stepping into your purpose, you're already dead. You understand that, right? Like if you're just half-assing this life, you're not even alive. Which is maybe why most of these people feel like shells to me. And I think they don't have a soul because they've totally missed the mark on their potential. Some of them, I think it's too late, but for a lot, it's not. And as long as you're being quiet, we don't have a fucking chance in saving anybody. This exact moment, everything that has happened up into this moment has been to set you towards your potential. What are you going to do about that? Charlie doesn't get another chance at anything. How many people don't get another chance at anything? And here you are. Don't fucking take it for granted. The most powerful thing you can actually do right now is to step into all of this with courage, with conviction, and with zero apologies. You understand? I'm not going to go soft on you. I'm not going to let up. I'm not going to stop talking about it. You can join the 50 plus people that have bounced out of following me. It even hurt my analytics on the podcast. I actually took a peek today. I probably lost 30 solid everyday listeners. 30. Which, I mean, to some, it's not a huge number. But to me, that's huge. It's huge. And it's okay because guess what? The world is still turning. Is it turning? I wear a tinfoil hat. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I don't know. Is the world turning? I question it. I question everything. You guys, come on. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? That's a thing. That's a thing. So mourn and be angry and don't let people gaslight you into shutting up. I'm not going to let this die out. I'm going to remind you every fucking day that you matter and that every step you take after this will define who you're going to be. What is your legacy going to be? Scared? I live my whole life fucking terrified of judgment, terrified of people leaving me, terrified of being called names, terrified of all these things. Or are you going to say, you know what? I spoke up and maybe one person, every time I press record on this shit, I think one person is going to be like, thank God she said that today. I needed to hear that. Thank God she said that today. One person just to say, thank God. And at the end of the day, what? Who am I? You guys, who the fuck am I? It doesn't matter. Don't listen to me then. Don't listen to me. Here's the thing. You're going to be standing in front of God one day. And he's going to ask you the same thing. Like, what is your legacy? What was your potential? Are you happy with the work you did down there? Are you happy with that? Are you proud of that? What would you say to him? Well, but I was really scared. I mean, I literally watched a guy get shot. And he's going to say, that should have been the catalyst. That should have been the moment in your life to propel you. I love you guys. So anyway, I'm getting off of here because I have a soccer game and a volleyball game to go to because life does still go on. Okay. It does. And every day we have a chance to step into our potential and to do something different. I don't care who you were yesterday. What matters is who you are in this moment. In this moment right now, what are you going to decide to do? How are you going to have the conversation? How are you going to make a difference? How are you going to keep the legacy of Charlie Kirk living and breathing? How are you going to do that? I love you.